Hello everyone! Today I am not going to be using Moana's paddle there. I had to take that from my daughter. But I am going to be making some keto bread. So what I've done is I went ahead and I took 5 eggs, and this is so funny, you guys. You can definitely tell that that egg right there was my non-farmer's market egg, because the others are really super almost orangey, and that one is just regular pale yellow and stays right together. But anywho, you're going to need 5 eggs. You're going to need some butter, about a half of a cup melted. You'll also need to combine in that about 2 tablespoons of your coconut oil. Once the butter melts, put the coconut oil in with the melted butter so that it can sit and all kind of get liquidy and mixed together. Make sure that your eggs that you're using are room temperature, or your bread is going to taste a little eggy if you don't. You're going to need about 1 teaspoon of baking powder. There we go, I got that right. 2 cups of almond flour, a half of a teaspoon of the xanthan gum. That just helps the bread kind of stick together more. A little bit of salt. You can use any kind of salt you like. I like to use the pink Himalayan salt. You're going to use 1 tablespoon, there we go, of your ground flax meal, and a diet ginger ale, or I'm actually using the Zivia ginger ale for mine. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of diet ginger ale, and then you can either use Sucrin Gold, which is like a brown sugar substitute replacement, or you can use just a regular sugar-free, sweetener, but you're going to need 3 tablespoons of both of those as well. So what you need to do first is, like I said, get your room's egg temperature. Go ahead and mix these really well together until they're, really beaten up, probably for about a minute or 2 on these. And then go ahead and get your butter and your coconut oil melted together, and make sure that you're letting that sit back out and you're not combining it right away with your eggs. Just because you don't want to add hot butter and hot oil mixture right into your eggs, because it will kind of prematurely cook them. So make sure that you're melting it, but then you're letting it sit for a few seconds. And then go ahead and get all of your dry ingredients in a separate bowl as well. You can use a mixer for this, or if you don't have a mixer, just make sure that you're using a really nice whisk, because we are going to be slowly whisking in our dry ingredients. So go ahead and get your butter and your oil melted, and then get your dry ingredients separate as well. Once you have all of your dry ingredients separated, your butter and your coconut oil melted and mixed well together, and of course your eggs whisked out really well to where it almost looks like you're making scrambled eggs, you're going to slowly start folding in your dry ingredients. And people ask me all the time, what else am I adding to mine outside of what I'm logging in my FitnessPal? I added some of Flavor God Garlic Lovers to mine, just because I really want a little bit of that garlicky taste in my bread, just because I'm going to be using this to make BLTs and eat egg salad sandwiches, and I just personally like that garlicky taste. I also used a combination of the Sucrin Gold and Swerve. I used 1 tablespoon of this and 2 of the Swerve, and that's simply my personal choice because I don't want it tasting too much like brown sugar, and I'm also running out of my Sucrin Gold a little bit, so that also had something else to do with it. Once you slowly start folding in your dry ingredients into this, and you continue whisking as you do, I'm going to do what I call kind of 2 parts to this. I'm going to do about a third of this, whisk, half of this, whisk, another third of this, whisk, the other half of this, whisk, and when I do the last third of this is when I'm going to add in my 3 tablespoons of my diet ginger ale and continue to whisk after that. It's hard to do while I'm recording, so I will do the first part and then pick back up from there. Okay, so I just did a third of my dry, half of my butter oil, and I'm making sure that I am continuing to fold in and whisk this as I add ingredients. I am now going to continue by adding another third and the remainder of my butter and oil. So there's that. Now, as you can see, it is definitely getting a lot thicker. The reason you want to add these ingredients in slowly is just because you want to not have clumps. And you want to make sure that everything is very evenly distributed. If you add everything at once, it's not going to allow you to do that. You're going to have big hunks of everything everywhere, and if you're adding, you know, hot butter and oil into it, it's really just going to create a bunch of lumps. Okay, so last third is going in now, and I'm also going to be adding in my 3 tablespoons of my Zivia ginger ale. The reason I use this, it is no sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and it is also caffeine free, so I don't really mind if my daughter has this. Here's the stats. It is 0 calories. It has 0 all along the back. It is carbonated water, citric acid, stevia leaf extract, natural flavors, and ginger extract. That's all that's in this, you guys. I absolutely love these. I drink this instead of soda now, and I feel a whole lot better. So let me get this last step going, and then we will move over to the oven. Okay, last step. You want to get a pan that is about this size. I call this my meatloaf pan. Make sure that you have either buttered or oiled the inside. That way when you pop the bread out, it's going to come out a lot smoother. This is what the final mixture looks like. It is pretty thick. As you can see, it's a thick batter. Everything is evenly distributed, and I'm going to put all of this into this pan and then smooth off the top. I will note, if you guys are wanting to add a little extra fat, just because there is a lot of protein in this with your eggs, feel free to add yourself in some MCT oil with this as well. You can replace some of the coconut oil with the MCT oil as well if you would like to. I will have this loaded into my FitnessPal, and I'll throw up the stats for you guys of how much each slice of bread is once I get this all sliced up and tell you exactly how many slices I get. I'm aiming for around 20 slices, so we'll see how this goes. You will, once you put it in here, be placing it in the oven at 350, so go ahead and get your oven preheated to 350. Okay, so once you get all of your bread batter down in here, I actually do just a slight bit of salt across the top on mine, just because I like a little bit of that saltiness. I also do just a slight bit of pepper as well. That's my own personal preference. You guys probably might not even like that. It's just what I do. I'm now going to pop this bad boy in the oven for about 40 to 50 minutes. I will be checking it with a toothpick right here in the center just to make sure that it is pulling out clean, to make sure that my bread is in fact done. So that's all we're going to do now. In the oven, 350 for 40 to 50 minutes. Check in soon. Hey, so my alarm just went off for my 45 minute, and I'm going to go ahead and pull my bread out because it's looking pretty crisp on top. I'll leave my oven going, and then what I'm going to do is take this toothpick. I'm going to stick it right through the middle, all the way down as far as I can, pull it back out, and as you see, it came out clean. So that tells me the bread is done, and now I am going to cancel my oven because I don't need it anymore. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to let this sit and cool for at least 30 minutes, preferably an hour. You can either let it continue to cool in the pan, or you can go ahead and get it out and let it cool on a cooling rack. That preference is totally up to you. I personally am just going to let mine cool right here in the pan, just because if it does still continue to cook a little bit in the pan, I'm okay with that because I like my bread a little crispy anyway. So we'll come back in about an hour and we'll cut this. Okay, so I have removed the bread from the pan. It has cooled for about 45 minutes now. As you can see, it is just a big solid mass of bread. What I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to cut this into slices. I always take half and I freeze it right away, just because this is fresh bread and it will go bad sooner. So I freeze half and then I put the other half in the fridge, and then I get out 2 slices each sandwich I'm going to make and toast them. So you do want to refrigerate and or freeze this loaf of bread. So I just took my half off. I'm going to put it into a Ziploc bag. This is what the bread looks like on the inside. As you can see a little bit of the grain still in there. And this is going to be my frozen bread so that I can cut off any time I want at any given time. I probably will go ahead and slice this and then freeze it. Okay, so I have everything fully sliced. I have this bag ready to go, and it's going to go in the freezer because I am going to be toasting these. And I have about 6 more slices that are in the fridge because I'll be making some grilled cheeses or BLTs this week. But overall, I got 24 slices. Can you believe it? 24 slices. So I'll go ahead and log this in my FitnessPal and put the video up. It does taste amazing. I'll be honest, I already had 2 slices just with butter on it. So enjoy making your own bread, guys, and back to sandwiches. Yay! Bye.